back. The two guys on the show, we're back.
Yeah, you scumbag. You
Back
thought you
together.
would take time off?
I went to New York, and apparently, like, everything happened. Like,
You
what
killed
happened?
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton dead. R.I.P. Bill Walton. I know you guys did a lot of Bill Walton stuff yesterday.
We did. We can
Bill
do
Walton
more. It's okay.
was a very special human being.
Yes.
I mean, you can make the, like, you know, we're getting to Mount Rushmore season, right? It's almost summer where you put your Mount Rushmores up of everything. Most influential sports figures in Oregon's history, the state of Oregon's history.
Oh, for sure.
Bill Walton is on it.
Yeah.
Bill Walton is
Only Trailblazers title? Yeah.
an
100%.
MVP,
Finals MVP.
and a guy who always loved this state, even though his exit was messy with the organization. When it was time to come back, he embraced this city. He never, ever spoke ill of the fans or the people of the Portland Trailblazers, trainers excluded. Did not like them. But he had a very special connection with this city, this state, and the game of basketball. I mean, he was an incredible ambassador to the game and to the area. And I always said this about Bill Walton as the broadcaster. Bill Walton was the best when you didn't have a dog in the fight. If you cared about a team that he was calling the game for, you probably weren't going to love Bill Walton being on your call.
Little tough.
But if you are just in for Pac-12 After Dark, Arizona State versus Utah,
Which is what I would tune in for.
and that is where Bill Walton shined. You know, if it was a midweek game, Oregon versus Cal, nobody cares, right? You wanted to listen to Bill Walton. But if it was, you know, number 4 UCLA taking on number 8 Oregon or Oregon State or whatever, that's not the game you wanted Bill on, because he was a showman, he was a storyteller, and you never knew what was going to come. And that's what made him special. And I love Bill Walton. I think everybody has a special Bill Walton story if you ever met him, because that's who he was as the storyteller. The storyteller also gave everybody a story when you met him, right? And he always tried to make a connection with every person that he would come across, you know, and it was easy here because, you know, it was all about the Portland Trailblazers and how great Rip City is, right?
Yeah.
He was a special person, and he truly will be missed because he cared about people. And I think we all could learn a very valuable lesson about caring about people and caring about the people that you are around. So, Bill Walton died when I was gone. College sports died when I was gone. Like college sports is just like, yeah, no, we're going to start paying people. Like, that's dead. The Pac-12's dead. Pac-12 and Bill Walton, you know, dying close together is pretty poetic, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Pac-12 in the Conference of
Couldn't
Champions.
live without it.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So that all happened. And then
It was not a calm time while you were gone. It was very disruptive.
no, like I missed a lot. Now I'm just like playing catch up when I get back. I'm like, what did I miss? Because I went to New York City, and that was great. That was my first time there. You know, did all the things. Went to a Yankee game. Walked like 10 miles a day. You walk a lot in that city. Holy crap, you walk a lot. There are a few things that I noted as I was going around New York City. It's a lot cleaner than Portland. New York City is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's tough.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like there are, don't get me wrong. There are times where you're walking down the street like, what is that smell? What is going on?
It's usually a
No.
person.
No, there's usually, no, like graffiti
Mm.
only on the subway.
Mm.
And then like a couple of pockets that we were in. Now, granted, we were going around to more touristy areas.
When they keep the police presence plenty high.
They do. They really do.
Yeah, well, when you have 30,000 of them.
That's right. That's right. But
I don't think
like
people realize that the police force in New York is that big.
we went everywhere. Like, I mean, it was everywhere. We went because we met up with friends and family that are over there and stuff like that. But we were all over. And it's a cool ass city, man. That was really fun. Went to a couple Broadway shows, saw the Book of Mormon, and then Six, which is really good.
I don't know what 6 is.
Six is okay. The people are gonna be like, really? I will not do it justice because the premise does not sound as good as the play is. It's a story of the 6 wives of King Henry the Fourth.
Okay.
And he killed a couple of them, changed religions to get a divorce. He was all around scumbag, but each one of the wives is kind of reimagined through like a pop star, current times pop star almost. You know, they have like kind of that identity. So there's like a Beyonce, a Lizzo, an Ariana Grande, so on and so forth. It was basically like a 2-hour concert that was really good. It was good. Broadway shows are amazing. Like, I'm not a theater guy per se. They are amazing. They do an incredible job. Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, he was doing a show that in a theater connected to our building.
Oh.
So every single night, there were thousands of people waiting next to the door
For Harry Potter?
For Harry Potter to come out. He is a very small man.
He's British. They're all tiny.
Very, very small.
They're all tiny.
But he was nice to everybody that would be there waiting. We were just like walking in and out. A couple of times just like cross paths with him. He is a very tiny man. But he was very nice to everybody. Here's the thing. He is in a play, and it is not Harry Potter on Broadway.
Oh.
There is a Harry Potter on Broadway that Harry Potter is not in.
That seems like
I don't know.
Seems maybe perhaps miscast.
Isn't he too old now, though? Like, he can't be Harry Potter. He's old.
It's the story about Harry Potter all grown up and like the cursed child or something.
Then I take it back. He should probably be in
He
Harry
should
Potter.
probably literally be playing that part.
Yeah, Henry VIII, not 4th. I was
Oh,
off
okay.
by 2. I was off by 4.
Four.
You know, times 2.
There you go.
Whatever. He was not a good dude. But we went all over the place, and there was a moment. Okay. Big boss lady, Kim. She gives me a recommendation.
Oh.
She says, all right.
Which can be a little terrifying.
No. They're always good recs. Like, she's always the good recs.
Oh, no, I mean, they're good recs, but just how good?
It was, she goes, you need to go to this place called Arturo's, right? Soho.
Of course.
We're like, okay. We go, she goes, you need to go there, sit at the bar, tell him I sent you. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. So, but we do go there. We go to the bar. We sit at the bar talking to the guy. The bartender is like, he goes, you been here before? I was like, never in my life.
Not even the city.
Never been to the city before. He's like, oh, okay. Where are you from? I was like, oh, Portland. He's like, oh, we got some people that come from Portland here before. I go, yeah, well, my boss told me to come here, and she said to, say that she sent me. And he goes, she goes, oh, Kimmy?
And you were like, oh.
I was like, I talked to her about our trip, and she's like, yeah, I go there like 2 times a year. She goes there twice a year. And the guy knew who she was. He was like, I love Kimmy. So became friends with Rob, the bartender.
Have you tried calling Kim Kimmy yet?
No, I did. Well, I told her the story. And he was like, he just sat, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a night. He took care of us. I let him do all of the ordering. Like, just like.
You put trust.
Yeah, I put trust into everything.
Okay.
And we had ourselves a night. But it was like a community. It's like a community Italian restaurant.
Oh.
So like I'm sitting there next to a guy who goes, the bartender's like, yeah, you asked Patrick about this place. He grew up around here. He took a bath in the bathtub over in the bathroom. And I was like, bathtub in the bathroom? What are you talking about? And this guy is sitting at the end of the bar. He's like, yeah. He goes, there's legitimately a bathtub in the bathroom. He goes, I did. They used to babysit me. So yeah, I took baths here when I was a kid.
No, seriously, I used to take a bath.
I legitimately bathed in this restaurant when I was a child. So we're sitting there, and at the bar, you're just talking to a bunch of the locals, and there's this lady talking about how she lives in an apartment. She moved from Chicago to New York in the 70s, got an apartment for $300.
Rent locked?
She's like, I got the golden handcuffs. I'm never leaving.
Yeah.
She now has like lived in the same building, but moved up in this building to
When
where it's like
spots open up.
a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that has a studio in it for her art.
Paying a
in
couple
her-
$100 a month.
And then she's like, yeah, I do art, sculptures, movie producing, TV producing. I'm like, who are you?
Just a regular Renaissance woman.
Yeah, so just talk to her and, we...
That
talk on.
whole rent
It's
thing
crazy,
in New
dude.
York, like understanding how people get places
Yeah.
and getting locked in and rates and stuff, like it's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. Look, New York City for me is a very cool place to visit.
Oof.
I want no part of ever living there.
Yeah, I had a lot of those conversations of like, one, this is so damn expensive there.
Don't get me wrong, you make more money there, so you can like kind of get around that to an extent.
Yeah.
But the whole like West Coast living versus East Coast living is such a
Lot
different beast.
Okay. A lot of Axe body spray, perfumes, and colognes.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh, like you're just like punched in the face with like 80 different smells as you walk
Mhm.
down the street. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're like in a neighborhood or you're in like a touristy spot, you're just sitting there like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
It was worse than the subway smell, in my opinion. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
you didn't get hit with the actual subway.
we got
smell,
hit.
then.
We got hit
No.
with the subway
The
smell.
the actual subway
It was
smell
about
will
80
make you vomit.
85 degrees and humid, and then it was just like, but here's the thing about the 80 smells of different perfumes and colognes. When it's just hitting you nonstop, you start getting that headache. I'd rather have that fleeting waft of hot, muggy butt subway
Yeah.
that comes in, but it passes pretty quickly. And then it's
No,
back to
it's
just
a
being in
stink
there.
that lives in your soul.
No. The 80s perfumes and colognes, it never leaves, man. It never leaves you. So, yeah, I'm back. We had great weather, too. It was like 80 and sunny almost the whole day. It did rain one day, and when it rained, it just like torrential downpour. And that, I will tell you, the Oregonian came out.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like,
umbrellas are everywhere.
we're just walking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
did not bother us. We were just...
Although it is a different rain in New York.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just like like they
It
get
just
like an
dumps.
inch of rain and they get in like an hour.
Yeah, and then it's over.
It's over. Yeah. That was like when we went to the Yankee game. We got off the subway and it was like thunder, lightning, downpour, and it's like 10 for a 12:30 first
Mhm.
pitch. By game time, it was
Clear
sunny,
skies.
80,
Yeah.
clear skies. Streets were still like flooding, but it was like.
And you're
perfect.
looking around like, what the hell? Because
Yeah.
we're used to when it rains here, it just rains.
New Yankee Stadium, not in my top 5 ballparks I've been to.
That's easy, yeah.
Not
Yankee
in-
fans don't like hearing that. but
No.
it's just it's not. It's
Mo-
special to Yankee fans. It's special to no one else.
Monument Park is cool.
Yeah.
Monument Park is cool. The bars around it. Like, hey, go to a stadium. You have to talk about this in Portland. Put bars around Moda Center.
Yeah.
It's very cool. They don't have to be, an entertainment district. Give me some dive bars like
Yeah.
they have around Yankee Stadium.
Well, New York's
Like,
a little bit different
give-
just because you literally walk everywhere.
I know, but just give me bars around where we're at.
Mhm.
Everything else about Yankee Stadium outside of Monument Park is just like, yeah, it's a nice stadium. Like,
You get the bleacher
It's okay.
creatures and the callbacks. It's fun
Yeah,
little stuff, but
it's not old Yankee Stadium.
No.
Like Fenway, like you feel the gravity when you walk into the building of like, I am in Fenway Park. You
Oh,
go,
this place is old and stinky.
you go up to whether it's T-Mobile or it's Oracle Park down in San Francisco
Mhm.
now, Petco Park, where you are in a fan-friendly environment to where it's easy to navigate around and they have a lot of viewpoints throughout the stadium. Yankee Stadium was just like it was a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Like it was okay. Monument Park was incredible though. It was awesome.
All of the retired jerseys or numbers.
Yeah, all the
all-
single digits is
they're all gone.
really
It's tough.
it's tough out there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of guys wearing 70s and 60s.
99.
That's right. Aaron Judge saw him hit a absolute
That's right. He hit
monster.
an absolute cannon off.
Yeah,
Luis
Luis Castillo.
Castillo.
Yeah, he was. That was fun.
Mm.
That's fun to see.
It's fun to watch the best do the best.
But
all in all, good trip, huh?
great trip.
Yeah.
Great trip. Yeah. No, obviously no kids.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps. That kind of helps things out. All right, let's go. You want to do some sporting today?
In case if we have to.
Yeah, I mean we don't technically have to.
Hmm.
If we don't want to, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Well, the boss is here today.
Oh yeah, that is true.
He's probably listening.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, Petco Park coming in on the Vancouver Ford text line as number 1. I don't know if I'd have it as number 1. It's pretty damn cool.
It's really
though.
nice. Yeah.
It is really cool. It is really cool.
I really want to go to PNC.
PNC in Pittsburgh sounds awesome. Camden Yards in Baltimore.
And you said the Braves complex rules.
Truist is awesome.
Dodger Stadium's good.
Yeah.
Dodgers Day, Chavez Ravine.
Yeah, there's not many
also
better views in sports than that.
Yeah, Chavez Ravine is great. It's not even.
No, I'm with you. Like
It's not even in my.
even at Old Yankee Stadium, which is where I went, it wasn't like.
But at least you had the history,
and that was it. But
right?
even then, like beyond that, it was like, okay,
Yeah, all right,
I get it.
and we're out.
Yeah.
So, I would put. Oof, this could be tough. This is tough. I might put at number 1 Oracle Park in San Francisco.
Fan
View.
experience, amenities, access. Yeah, it's certainly up there.
You get to especially for
Unique field design too.
Yeah, and then a lot of history there with Bonds launching them into McCovey Cove.
Yeah.
And it's a new stadium that has that kind of history, right? I mean,
I wouldn't push
cool.
back against that.
And then I'll go back to Fenway was awesome just because of history.
Because it is
History
as I'm wearing my Cardinals hat, Wrigley is dope.
And architecture is really cool. It's really cool.
Wrigley's very cool.
All right.
So, I always if you had the option regarding the professional sports, NBA, NFL, MLB. It's if you had the opportunity to visit every stadium, it's baseball, isn't it?
Yes. Football stadiums are because they're unique. They're different.
Yeah,
all of them are different.
Baseball stadiums are just all so different.
Yeah.
And don't be wrong, there's some NBA arenas that have some really cool touches. Like Indiana's a spot that I really want to go to.
Fieldhouse.
Yeah, like the way that whole thing is set up is super cool. The Ballmer Dome is going to have all of the toilets.
The Intuit Dome.
Yeah,
in Inglewood.
There's some uniqueness there, but baseball is like the way you go.
Well, you go for the experience, and that's why where the Rangers' new ballpark sucks. Looks like a big metal barn.
But what does it look like inside?
A big metal barn with a baseball field in
okay.
it. Yeah, from what I've heard. Never been there, but it kind of sucks. All right, let's get the show on the road. Timberwolves keep our attention just a little bit longer, but how long? Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hello, sports.
It's purgatory for another week.
God, for a whole bleeping week.
The NBA has their steadfast start time for the NBA Finals being June 6th, which
boy, that's a ways out.
it feels like a really long time away, right? It is next week, which is also
a long way.
Life is coming at you fast.
I don't know if you checked your sports calendars lately. It's not looking great.
But last night, a potential elimination game, and Kyrie Irving, perfect no more in series clinching games, 14-1 now. That's an incredible stat.
How dare he?
Yeah.
How dare he?
And I'd like to give myself a little pat on the back here. Kyrie Irving is the second best player in this series right now. He has been outstanding. And all of it was Luka versus Ant. Karl-Anthony Towns, can he elevate himself? Karl-Anthony Towns before last night has been doo-doo, baby. But he was good enough last night, despite fouling out in crunch time. Kind of going to be a problem with Karl-Anthony Towns. He was great last night. And so at least we get a game 5. We didn't get 2 sweeps in the conference finals.
To be fair, we brought Kirk Henderson on of Mavs Moneyball to talk about this series, and he said 4-1.
4-1.
Either way, Minnesota or Dallas. Was going to win this thing 4-1.
It was which will would impose itself.
And it's been Dallas. And look, it's very hard to sweep somebody, particularly if a team doesn't have a bunch of injuries. Boston.
Whoa.
Well, I'm just saying.
Look, if this game goes 7, by the way, that will be the next one is Boston getting another layup here because they're going to team coming off a 7-game series.
Well, not only that, they'll get Porzingis back clearly.
Oh, they're going to
He's going to have all of the rest.
It'll be at 6 weeks.
Yeah. And I've heard that he's starting to get on court. So
well, that's what they were saying last week, like around game 2-ish.
Yeah.
They were like, he's working his way back.
4 was going to be the earliest return, and if it went 5 or 6, he was probably going to make spot return.
Yeah, they didn't need that.
Yeah, which is why he's just now ramping up. So, but no, last night you had the Timberwolves overcome some adversity for the first time, and you had some shot variants go against Dallas. Luka, good God, how many times did he have something rim out last night?
Including a free throw that could have given him a chance at the end there. That and 1-3 where he makes the 3, and then can I say that it's really hard because everybody complains to the officials about calls. Here's my problem with Luka. Did you see what happened when he missed the free throw last night? He went palms up like something happened that affected his free throw. It's like, dude, no, you missed a damn free throw. Nobody affected your free throw except for you, buddy. And that right there is what gets me about Luka. But he is one of the greatest basketball players walking planet Earth right now.
The interesting thing about Luka, his Achilles heel, if he has one, is the free throw line. As good a player as he is, he's not a great free throw shooter. His career playoff free throw percentage is 73%.
Whoa.
And he's shooting 81% in these playoffs. So he's actually up overall in the playoffs all time. He's essentially a 74, 75% free throw shooter, which is fine. But much like LeBron, he's not the guy you want. You want Kyrie at the line.
Yeah.
Same. Honestly, with LeBron, you wanted Kyrie at the line because he's a 90% free throw shooter. He's one of the best free throw shooters of all time. Him and Dame have been those 90% guys, and Steph. It's actually kind of crazy to have a generation of players that were those 3 guys, as good as shooters as they are, also being some of the 15 best free throw shooters the game has ever seen. But you also saw, I think, what happens when the Mavs can't throw a fresh big out there for every second. And I'm not taking away from Maxi Kleber, but the loss of Derek Lively was felt last night.
Got a little whiplash.
And that's kind of in all of these games, they've all been close. And I think you're quite literally looking at the difference between Dallas winning and losing is Derek Lively not playing.
Yeah. And
And Gafford was good.
This is something that has been eating away at me. I got my sports takes that have been all bottled up here. The idea that there are so many people talking about like, okay, let's redraft again. It's like it'd be Wemby 1, Miller 2. Who would be 3? Right? I saw this. Josh Eberle had this a few days ago. Who would be pick 3? Scoot, Derek Lively, Amen Thompson, or other? We can't play this like, yeah, Derek Lively is playing a really big role for the Mavericks alongside Luka Doncic
and
Kyrie Irving, and now that they have PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford because they didn't want to rely on Derek Lively.
Yeah.
Like we can't just.
Well, they didn't want to rely on Dwight Powell, so they got Derek Lively, and then they're like, "Hey, he's a rookie, and he gets a little banged up, and he's kind of injury prone. We should probably go get another big to reinforce this, so we have 2 7-foot lob threats that we can go to the entire time. Oh, and we've simplified his role to please catch ball above rim, dunk, and grab offensive rebounds.
Just like,
and it's not to take away from the guy.
Just like Derek Jones Jr. is absolutely his. By playing in Dallas, his nickname should be the Hub because he's an airport. He can just fly in and out of arenas all over the place. He was brought in to be the guy that he is now in Dallas. He came here to Portland. The fit didn't make sense.
No, I mean, and Terry wanted to play him as that like spacer dunker spot 5.
Yeah,
but he had Dame and CJ who were 6'2" and 6'3".
Like we saw Dame throw a lob to him like in game 2 of Derek Jones Jr. being here. And we're like, that's new, and then we didn't see it for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, because Dame doesn't throw lobs.
No, he doesn't.
That's the thing is, what does Luka do?
Throws a lot of lobs.
Got to run this by you as it pertains to Derek Lively.
Okay.
Sideshow lob. Great nickname or incredible nickname?
This is a great nickname. Yeah. I would go incredible if we didn't have Robin Lopez being already Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
You know, like, and him embracing that and leaning into it because
he looks just like Sideshow Bob
and loves The Simpsons and loves cartoons. Yeah. Sideshow Lob is really good, though. Oof. Sideshow Lob.
Bringing back great
really
nicknames
good.
Is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. But Lively not being back to your point after the tangent.
Probably a difference in this game.
It is. Okay, but how long can we take this thing out? Because you had Ant Edwards, again, calling his shot.
You told somebody in the hallway you're seeing for game 6. Where does that confidence come from?
What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say we're going to lose game 5? No, I'm not going to never say that. Michael Parsons, you know, he was rocking the AE1s, and I told him he wears size 14. I'll bring back some nice shoes for game 6. That's what I told him.
And Edwards doing it again, just like he did in Denver. Will we see a game 6? How long can the Timberwolves drag this thing out? And is there any shot in hell that they actually win this series? That after Big Will Betts with SportsCenter. Game 6 when we come back to Dallas. We think we see a Game 6?
Maybe, just because it's tough to win on the road. But there's also the flip side of this to where this is also Ant Edwards saying, hey, I did it once before, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Because remember, he told Denver, I'll be back. Told the
He
ball
did.
boys, I'll be back. And it was like, well, let's see what he says, what happens when it goes the other way. Well, here's your opportunity. Also, Mavs, stop bringing Cowboys into your building.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not working
That's
for him.
no.
No.
Bring a Ranger into your building. Bring a Dallas Star into your building. Bring literally any other franchise into your building. Bring Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is courtside. You're winning. Stop bringing Cowboys into your building.
I said this last week. It would be my favorite thing in the world if all of the sports do well except for the Cowboys in Dallas, because that's the only one they actually care about. Rangers are reigning World Series champions. Stars are in the Western Conference Finals.
Good. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
Look at that.
Look at you. You know puck.
The Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. I know that because Eastern Conference Finals, I was the Rangers. Good luck. They won 2 games when I was in town. I leave, they lose. Kind of a
Correlation
kind of
equals
neat.
causation.
That's
here.
right.
I
That's
see
right.
you.
That's right. Which that was badass. We were walking through Central Park and we kind of stopped. They had the that watch party on Sunday. We were walking through Central Park. We were just on the outside and we were going to go and we were like, no. But you could literally hear the roars of the crowd from that watch party a mile away through Central Park watching hockey. Like, good sports town New York is.
They love the Rangers.
They
out there.
love the Rangers.
Yeah.
But if all of the other teams do well in Dallas, except for the Cowboys,
Perfect.
sign me up.
Oh, yeah.
Sign me up. And
100%.
especially Micah Parsons. Like, you can't bring a Cowboy in who's wearing the shoes of the best player on the other team.
We
do that.
we played a clip yesterday from Boston Sports Media, Boston Sports Radio,
Yeah.
98.5.
Yeah, the hub.
Yeah, the host there hung up on Bill Walton back in the day when the Lakers beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
Because Bill Walton was rooting for his son, Luke Walton, who was on the Lakers.
As a father does.
Yes. And, he hung up on him. And then they played that yesterday, the day that he died.
Yeah. I think that fits oddly in Boston.
Yeah.
Like, that's on brand for them. They got
Celtics are the balls.
They got a lot of
That part.
hate in their heart. That is very Boston of them because they look back at the fond memories of Walton being 6th man of the year, winning NBA title, and then we hung up on him because he rooted for his kid over our city. That is the most on-brand Boston thing that you could possibly do. Do we see any shot, though, of the Timberwolves winning? I mean, they were down 3-0 in this series, looking down the barrel of a sweep. But here's
They
what
save a little bit of face. That's really all that.
Well, usually you sit there and you're like, no, that's stupid. It's out of the question. Every single one of these games has come down to the wire, though.
Yeah, it has, but it's also 154-0.
Yep, that is true.
Look, somebody's going to eventually do it. I don't think it's this team.
In the Western Conference Finals, you have this. You don't get to the. Well, actually, the Blazers did. Very rarely do you get there on an absolute fluke where you, especially to get a 3-0 series lead in the Western Conference Finals, you are too good to
fumble
let that go.
Yeah.
Like, you don't lose 4 games in a row against the exact same team if you are that good to get a 3-0 series lead in the Western Conference Finals.
To be fair,
The
Timberwolves almost did it.
The Timberwolves almost did
The
it.
Nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that's like we saw the flaws that Denver had
Sure.
here. And could it be injuries, right? You could have injuries pop up for Dallas coming up in game 5.
It's certainly a possibility, and I don't think you can count on the shooting variance to be that far against Dallas.
No.
Lost,
Kyrie was bad last night
Well, not only that,
from the field.
But you shot 42, 35, 86, and you took less free throws, and you shot worse from the field, you shot worse from 3, and free throws were a 2-point difference.
Hey, did last night break the 14 3-point trend?
Yep.
That was the first game that a team made
No,
14.
second.
Second. Okay.
Another team, Indiana.
Indiana did
had
it.
one.
All right.
Where they beat down their leg again.
Boy, that series was sad.
It legitimately could and should have been 3-1 Pacers. That's the insanity of it all.
Yeah. And
you tip your cap to Boston because they did what they needed to do, but boy, am I afraid for them.
I don't look.
Have you reached the point of the NBA title winner is going to be one of Minnesota or Dallas, or do you still think Boston has the juice?
I think they can.
Yeah,
I absolutely think they can, because if they get Porzingis back, all of a sudden that is a completely different dynamic.
Yeah.
And then I also look at the importance that Drew Holiday will have in either one of these matchups. Mainly the Dallas matchup. Drew Holiday is a game changer in that regard.
Yeah, because he can guard Kyrie.
He can guard Kyrie, and you don't have to give any extra help because he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. And he has been a guy who has gotten to the mountaintop before, right? Like when you talk about having a not just lights out perimeter defender, but a guy who knows what it takes to win a championship, goes through those ups and downs, and did it not as a star, but as like the second fiddle, third, fourth fiddle in Milwaukee when they won. Yeah, I'll give Boston a chance. And plus, you get they have a bunch of rest, and everybody's criticizing Boston like, oh, the easy path. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to say, no, go ahead, bring a couple guys in and we'll play
Make
them?
it harder.
Like, you play the schedule that's in front of you. Could they very easily get the floor mopped with them by either one of these teams in Minnesota or Dallas?
Sure.
Yeah. But I sit there and I look at the Dallas matchup, and it's crazy to think because you have Luka and Kyrie, but with the guys that you have in Boston, you probably match up better with Boston because you don't, or with Dallas, because you don't have anybody that can defend the bigs in Minnesota.
Yeah, asking Horford to defend like that for a whole series, probably a difficult task.
Yeah.
Probably a difficult task.
Yeah.
Should Portland raise a banner if the Celtics win, since we gifted them Drew Holiday?
I think we can do that.
I mean, we raise summer league banners.
Yeah.
We do that here. But also we can also just laugh at Miami. That we will do.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. Like I feel bad for, Time Lord and Brogdon.
Yeah, well, you know what? We also we
like
today we could mention things are heating up around old Jimothy Butler.
Oh, really? Oh, is there new news on Jimmy Butler? All right, let's get to that. Let's get to Jimmy Butler. Yeah, let's get to some Jimmy Butler news.
I'm okay with that.
Danny Dusty on the Fan.
who covers the Philadelphia 76ers for the Inquirer, has a tweet and an article up. Sources: Sixers are prepared to give Jimmy Butler a max extension if Miami Heat star is traded. Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. The Philadelphia 76ers have a max contract slot.
Wait,
and they're
didn't Pat Riley tell us all, though, that Jimmy's not going to be traded?
absolutely not. Anthony Chang, the Miami Heat reporter for the Miami Herald, the actual reporter for the Miami Herald, I should say, Jimmy Butler wants a max extension this offseason, preferably from the Heat. But whether it's from the Heat or another team, he wants a max extension. Or Butler can become a free agent by declining his player option next offseason and look for a max contract then.
Sheesh.
Yes. Jimmy Butler, the patient, very willing and accepting man when it comes to his contract, his role, his team, and his outlook for his career. I'm sure he's willing to play out a lame duck year.
Boy, what? But
I'm certain that's exactly what's going to happen.
you know what this is just staring down the barrel of? Jimmy Butler is not young.
No, it's not. No, he's not. Not at all.
He's like, what, 34?
Yeah.
You give him a 5-year.
Well, it's a 2-year extension.
It'd be a 2-year extension.
On top of this, but it's basically $60 million a year.
Okay, so, but I mean that's more palatable than a max extension going further than that.
Money Dame got.
But at the same time, you're tying yourself. Dame was longer though, right?
Yeah, he got the full
super max.
Yeah, but this would be the same amount of money.
Yeah, but it's
at the same
the
age.
length that you're sitting there and you're going too long. That is would have me wary, especially because, all right, for 2 years, palatable. But how much does Jimmy have left in that tank to be the dog that he is? Because Jimmy Butler seems like a guy where when he fades, he's going to fade fast because of how he plays, right? He isn't like out of control, barreling down the lane, but his style of play requires so much effort on both ends of the floor that is he going to be able to be that at 37 years old?
He hasn't been able to play more than 59 games the last couple of years. So, but I don't think the 76ers care either way here in the sense of either leveraging the Heat to pay him or they pay him.
Yeah, because somebody will do it.
Well, not only that, the 76ers are like, we have a window right now. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, we need a third guy in there, whether it's Paul George, whether it's Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, whoever it is. Like, we want him.
Yes, and they should want him.
Because they're in a title window, and they don't know what they have with Embiid.
They would have him for 3 years. So this year and then the 2-year extension.
And really, you're looking at next year and really the year afterwards. And after that, you're doing triage.
I was reading that the salary cap implications of the new TV deal that's going through.
Mm-hmm.
New salary cap's going to be $200 million, which means the Supermax 5th-year salary will be $95 million.
What did I tell you, man? That we were going to be getting a $100 million player within the next decade.
Well,
it's coming.
That's ridiculous. That is crazy.
Wemby is probably the guy.
Yeah, that's
because by the time that at his 9-year mark, when he hits the true unadulterated Supermax, he will probably be $100 million a year player.
$100 million.
Which means he will be. Yeah, he'll be the first billionaire salary player in the NBA.
That's crazy.
Because at that point in time, he would over 9 years, he probably would have racked up probably around 450.
Well, what was didn't Draymond Green just say something over the weekend that the NBA doesn't set players up to be wealthy after they're done playing?
Yeah, because he gets fined for his stupid actions.
Draymond,
the taxes are prohibitive.
What are we doing, man?
Stop kicking people, dummy.
The taxes. Yeah, he goes because of the taxes. It's like, buddy, don't get fined, and you won't be in this problem.
Guess what happens if I punch somebody in the workplace? I go to jail and or get fired.
That guy. That is the.
They have you on video assaulting someone.
That is all-time out of touch professional athlete.
It's gaslighting. That's what it is. It's the dumbest possible thing imaginable.
It also comes from the person who says he's the new media because he's cutting through all the other stuff. And going after Stephen A. Smith, you're doing the same thing.
Also, if you only had somebody in your corner with the players' union who was representing your interests, oh, that's right, it's your former teammate and friend Andre Iguodala.
Yeah,
Why don't you check it out with him, dude?
That was crazy.
Yeah, no, that made my skin crawl. But yeah, no, you're probably looking at Wemby as being the first billionaire salaried player.
Good for him.
Yeah. Shohei could probably do it.
No, because he's only got 3/4 of a Billy, and Wemby will pass him before that.
There hasn't been a soccer player that's gotten to a Billy?
In salary alone, I don't think so.
Ronaldo might have been able to do it with the Saudi money.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, him and Messi, they were getting paid stupid money, and then Mbappe's young.
Yeah, Mbappe could get there.
So there was talk of him.
No, Ohtani, $700 million in contract value. Messi, 674. Ronaldo, 536 million. What a bum.
Yeah, that's
leading goal scorer in 4 different countries' main league.
What a bum.
Although he did it in the Saudi league in like 3 games.
$500 million in salary. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. All right. Ohtani, good for Shohei Ohtani. Good for Victor Wembanyama. Huh? How about those guys?
not too bad. But yeah, Jimmy Butler probably getting traded.
All right. Well, good for them. Hey, Autotown GMC presents the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms, July 11th, just a little over a month. The afternoon round, really close to selling out. Actually, maybe sold out by the end of our show today. Morning round is also filling up fast, so make sure if you are having any question about it, go and do it. Sign up for the Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms, brought to you by Autotown GMC. Matt's Barbecue back on for their award-winning food. We will have on the course food, beverages, aplenty. Victor Rico's Mexican food also back with their breakfast burritos for the morning round. Warm up on the Michelob Ultra driving range, and then we'll all be out at the Par 3 6th hole, brought to you by Doers, where all the shows will be broadcasting live out at Langdon Farms, and when we're not on the air, we'll be going out to that Par 3 6th hole and hanging out with you. Sign up your foursome now at 1080thefan.com before it sells out again. All right, coming up in hour number 2, golf's bad boy. Not so bad anymore. We've got audio now.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
At Tropical Smoothie.
being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours, whether it's on 1080 AM, youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, the Odyssey app, twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. Thank you. Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth.
We're early.
Swing.
We're early? We're
Yeah,
early?
we're
We're early?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
It's weird.
Look at that.
I don't like it.
A little short update. We got in a little early.
I don't
I like
like it.
this. Look at
It's-
producer Will doing his job.
Gross.
Just doing my job.
Just doing his job. All right. Well, we're riding on YouTube, so come party on with us. And on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit online, vancouverford.com. Okay. Scotty Scheffler, the bad boy of golf. No more. No more.
Street cred gone?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. The charges have been dropped by the Louisville Police Department to one Scotty Scheffler. Here is what the Jefferson County attorney, Mike O'Connell, said when the charges were dropped. Based upon the totality of the evidence, my office cannot move forward in the prosecution of the charges filed against Mr. Scheffler. Mr. Scheffler's characterization that this was a big misunderstanding is corroborated by the evidence. The evidence we reviewed supports the conclusion that Detective Brian Gillis was concerned for public safety at the scene when he initiated contact with Mr. Scheffler. However, Mr. Scheffler's actions and the evidence surrounding their exchange during this misunderstanding do not satisfy the elements of any criminal offenses. Boy, who could have seen that coming?
One look at the video. One single grainy look at the video.
Yeah.
Didn't need the Zapruder film.
No.
Didn't need to slow it down.
Yeah.
You knew. And this is without any audio.
Yeah.
One. You knew the cop was an a-hole.
Well, before we even saw the video, there was this idea like, it's Scotty Scheffler. Like, I mean, this police officer, which is a very hard job that they're doing.
I am never going to take away from that. It takes a very, very, very
No.
particular person. Look, I was in the military. It's a very particular breed. Life can suck, and sometimes you're an a-hole, and other people deal with it, and that's just the nature of the beast. But
even when we heard it was Scotty Scheffler, it was like, this guy probably was acting kind of like a hardo here.
and he was. Without any of it, though.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about it? We go, oh, a detective working a crash scene at 5 o'clock in the morning in the rain?
He didn't want
Yeah,
to be there.
he didn't want to be there.
He didn't
And
wanna
you knew
Mhm.
the second you heard the police report. He was drugged to the point of ripping his pants
Beyond repair.
beyond repair, which were $80. to
$80.
replace. The second you could have never showed me any video, told me not a single person who was involved, and by reading that police report alone, I would go, this cop's full of crap.
Well, we have audio, and I don't think that he is full of crap. I just think that it was a chaotic environment, and he was not clear at all with who he was or what he was doing. And we'll hear this is an exchange between Scotty Scheffler and his arresting officer, not the officer that he apparently dragged to the point of his pants being beyond repair. We have 3 parts of audio that we will stop and we'll have little interludes.
So I'm pulling in here. The police officer up there told me to come the opposite way with the traffic and then come in. And as I was pulling in, my window was down, and the officer told me to stop. And first of all, I did not know that he was a police officer. I thought he was one of the security guards that was mistaken. And as I was pulling by him, he grabbed my arm.
Stop right there. Why does it matter if he's a security guard or a police officer?
Because
if somebody's telling you to stop.
Yes, you're right. I should have stopped. I did get a little bit impatient because I'm quite late for my tea time. And as he was reaching in the car, he grabbed my shoulder and hit me. Like
trying to get you to stop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It seemed to be a little bit over aggressive because the entrance was open.
Okay.
And I pulled a little bit because I was afraid. I thought he was going to start hitting me, and I didn't know who he was. He didn't tell me he was a police officer. All I saw was the yellow jacket. I didn't know what he was doing. I listened to the police officer.
Okay, there's part 1.
Telling you right now, you reach into my car, I don't care what vest you have on, how you look. At 5 o'clock in the morning, you reach in my car and you grab me, and I don't know it's your cop. I'm pulling away, and you're getting drugged, pulled, dragged, run over.
Okay.
Especially if I'm the number one golfer in the world.
That is also what Jeff Darlington, who was reporting, he had said, what other reporters that were on the scene that were watching it unfold said. And you heard Scheffler, he's like, he was overly aggressive. I didn't know who he was. And the police officer says, what is the difference between him being a police officer and just a security guard? And Scheffler says, you're right, I should have stopped, whatever. But there's a big difference.
There's
because
a distinct difference.
Well, when you go to these big events, and everybody's been to a big event where, whether you're going into a busy parking lot at like a fairgrounds or whatever, right? You have the people in the vests, and when the gates are open, like Scheffler says, the gates were open, I just thought I was going to go through. Usually what those people are doing is they'll even get pretty close to your vehicle. If you go to a large sporting event and you're getting, the traffic people in and out, security working in and out of the parking lot.
Roll.
Yeah, you go by, and then if somebody jumps into your vehicle without announcing who they are, I can see where Scotty Scheffler was like, dude, what is the hell's going on here? I will pull away. That's
it's also
number
5
one.
o'clock in the morning. It's pouring rain. It's pitch black. There's lights and sirens everywhere from a freaking accident where somebody has died down the street.
And he had been told exactly what to do
By
before.
who?
A police officer. Okay. Here's part 2.
So the thing is, he's wearing a uniform. Okay. He also is wearing the same jacket that I have on that says police.
Yes.
Okay. Also, on that, if someone's telling you to stop, no matter who it is, you don't keep going. So what happened is,
No, you don't.
You kept going and you took him with you while he's a pedestrian. Okay.
Yes.
So you took him with your car and drug him. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing,
I'm
right?
very aware that was
To
not a
make
good
it
thing.
listen to me. So make it even worse. When he asked you to get out of the car, you refused to get out of the car.
I still was not aware he was a police officer. I was actually looking out the window of the car to try to find a police officer. I asked.
We're all right here, and
I
he was there.
Just the arrogance.
We're all wearing yellow vests so you can see us.
If he knew he was a police officer, I would have been much more or less afraid. But panic kind of set in. As you can see, I'm still shaking because I was afraid. I didn't know who he was.
Okay. I understand both sides of this thing, though. Like, Scheffler's sitting there, and he's like, the guy never identified himself as a police officer. And yeah, I'm not going to stop for somebody. And he said, I was looking around looking for an actual police officer. I didn't know who the guy was, or what he was doing.
And also the idea that he drug him. No.
Yeah.
No. He reached into a vehicle without identifying who he was. You do not know. And I before the text line even comes with this, you stop when a cop says stop. No. You stop when an identified cop tells you to
That's a
stop.
big one.
That you don't stop when somebody tells you to
That
stop
is-
wearing a yellow vest. Shut up.
Yeah.
That level of stupidity, arrogance, and just inscrutable stupidity irks me
But
to the point of 1,000 degrees.
I also understand where this officer wasn't the one that had any of this happen to him. He's the guy that was called in after Scheffler. So he's like, dude, like, we're all wearing the police vest. I understand where he's like, dude, it literally says police right here on this vest. Like, okay, we're there. And he's going off of the word of the dude who was dragged, right? Like, you drag the guy, not supposed to do that. I think the officer that Scheffler's talking to, I think he's being pretty reasonable about it based on
to the point that he's siding with his guy. They will 100%.
But what he knows as well, like what he's going off of, okay, like this is what happened. And mind you, this police officer had no idea who Scotty Scheffler is. No, like the one he's talking to or the guy who was dragged. They have zero idea who it is because remember, Darlington.
So that's
was
2 idiots
asked,
in a row.
Darlington was asked, who is that guy? And they're like, you just arrested the number one golfer in the world.
So first, everybody's like, oh, they had a vest on. Well, then how come the cops who were trained to sit there and watch and analyze and understand things couldn't see the giant gold sticker on the side of the car for a PGA Tour player?
Yeah, right. That is a very good point.
I'm just wondering, for everybody's like, well, he was wearing a vest. Well, he had a freaking badge on the car the size actually bigger than your vest.
I think where the police officer who got air quotes dragged here,
he's getting drugged publicly now.
I think where he is so far out of line, and where obviously the district attorney agrees as well, is that Scheffler was given specific instructions to go down this way. And he did exactly what he was told by a police officer that identified themselves as a police officer earlier. He followed their instructions. This guy wanted to change things, but didn't identify himself as a police officer at any point, apparently. And, oh, by the way, remember what happened like 3 days after? He never activated his body cam footage, which is what he was supposed to do. But here's Scheffler and the police officer once more.
He didn't say, police, get out of the car. He just hit me with his flashlight and yelled, get out of the car.
We're wearing a lot of police gear. That surely signifies that we're the police.
Me, if I knew he was a police officer, I would have gotten out of the car. I don't know what to tell you other than I was a little bit panicked trying to get into the golf course, and now I don't know what to do.
Let's go back to the first point, okay? No matter if you thought it was a police officer or not, why are we wearing yellow vests? Why do you think we're wearing yellow vests? So you can see us, right?
Yes.
So you can see us, and if somebody tells you to stop, if it's a traffic guard, security guard, anybody, that means you stop at that time and you don't keep going.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so stuff like this doesn't happen.
Yes.
Because you actually hurt him, and he's a police officer.
Yes.
He's got a huge scrape on his knee. He's getting checked by EMS, big bruise. So I don't know. But for you right now, the main question is if you're going to jail, and it's up to him. I don't know.
Am I able to speak with him?
No.
I love that at the end. No.
It's up to him.
Yeah.
And that right there is the problem, because you had a very subjective party. Which is why the charges are now being dropped.
Yeah, that's 100% correct here. And I love the police officer wants Scotty Scheffler to understand unequivocally that, no matter who it is, you stop for them. Yet at the same time, they don't know who he is, and they don't understand where he is coming from, where if you are a person of the profile of Scotty Scheffler, those situations, you don't just stop your car for anybody, right?
No.
You don't just stop your car for anybody that's like, hey, stop here, stop here. No, because these police officers may not know who Scotty Scheffler is, but a lot of people do. And there's also a lot of people that will go after a millionaire and try to, I don't know, like assault them, or autograph hounds are a big one that professional athletes have to deal with all the time, right? Now, do all autograph hounds wear a reflective vest at 5 o'clock in the morning? No. But for the police officer to automatically want Scotty Scheffler to acknowledge who they are and know who they are in the driving rain at 5 o'clock in the morning, as there's several cars
After
driving.
being told what? By whom?
Exactly where to go. But hold on. As several cars in front of Scheffler had gone in and he was just following them, and then this guy jumps out in front, I'm siding with Scotty Scheffler here on this one. But at the same time, I understand where the police officer's going with, hey, man, we're all wearing the exact same thing. You probably should have stopped. Error in judgment. That's why all these charges are getting dropped, because this cop did not do his job appropriately.
No.
By failing to identify himself and then latching onto a moving vehicle that says clearly on the side, PGA Championship courtesy car, and letting other cars through and then just being like, nope, that's the one I'm going to stop.
That's the thing about this, is this was a cop that was, and again, they've already done the dump on him. They're done with him as far as his record. Have you read all of the things that he had tagged on him?
No, I haven't.
Oh, buddy, you missed that?
He went full super bad in 2012.
Oh, buddy, he's got a rap sheet on him for failure to follow rules and guidelines and being suspended. And he's a scumbag.
He got caught doing donuts with someone in the back of his police car.
Blackout drunk.
Wait,
not him.
The person in the car.
Yeah, he got suspended for it, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Detective Gillis there.
Yeah.
Shane, first name?
No. Brian. But it is something that Shane would probably do in that story right there.
I think it's a skit.
Yeah, this is look,
The charges are dropped here, and I'm wondering if Scheffler's legal camp are going to stop here. I don't think they will.
I bet they will, just because of who he is.
I could be wrong.
It's been really good for him, not bad.
I also could be
honest.
Could be wrong, but I thought I saw that like part of this was that they weren't going to come back. Like he was just done. There was no lawsuit. I could be wrong though. Like I thought I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't. I bet Scheffler's just like, I just want this to be over, because you know what? Those police officers didn't know who Scotty Scheffler was before. Everybody knows who Scotty Scheffler is now. Like people that don't like sports are like, hey, what was up with that Scotty Scheffler guy? And it's like, yep, you know. This has actually been the best thing for Scotty Scheffler's brand of all time, because he got the bad boy boost, but then he still gets the nice guy charges drop, misunderstanding
There's
everybody.
also more as it pertains to additional witness. Multiple witnesses reported to ESPN who can be seen in the videos released by LMPD from a dashcam video in a cruiser and a fixed camera from a light pole, refuted allegations that Scheffler's SUV struck or even dragged Gillis. They said there were other eyewitnesses who can't be seen in the video. He was not struck by Scotty's car. He was not drugged by Scotty's car. So however he got torn pants or a scrape on his knee, it didn't have anything to do with Scotty Scheffler.
This guy.
You have an a-hole cop. It's that simple.
Yeah, he was being a hardo.
We knew it.
Sure.
The second you read the police report. If you've ever read that kind of document, if you've ever read government documentation, you knew right away that they were looking for literally anything to, like, all right, let's jazz this thing up a little bit, make it as much as we can, because they didn't know who they were messing with.
And that's that's the problem, is that, like, I don't know, and it gives fuel to everybody that's like, you know, the whole all cops are bad thing.
And that's not true at all.
That's not true at all.
But the ones
these
that are
the
bad,
things that give them
they abuse the
fuel,
hell out of
because
it.
it's like, or what has this guy gotten away with? Everybody is thinking today, what has this douche gotten away with? And it's probably a lot, because he's been caught for a lot and it hasn't stopped him, right? And so that is where I think this is just all bad in every way, shape, and form. And glad it came to this resolution, though. So, bad boy Scotty Scheffler.
This is where we knew it was going to go. The charges were going to get dropped.
Yeah. Like,
it could have been John freaking Daly, and I still would have been like,
if it was John Daly,
nobody.
If it was John Daly, I'd have been like, I mean, maybe a long night at Hooters. I don't know if he's going to the course or going home for the night. Like, true. I don't know at 5 a.m. what Daly's doing. But Scheffler, it's like, come on. This can't be real. This can't be real.
Violently dumb on all levels.
All right.
And honestly, I'm glad that it was Scheffler, in the sense of, like, now you get to go highlight this.
Profile pretty high on that one, huh?
Great stuff.
Profile is
the F around find out index just absolutely hammered there.
Oh,
love it. Love it for that guy.
About to find out. You about to find out.
Girl, you something else.
All right, 503-864-6326. That is a Vancouver Ford text line. Got a lot of opinions, thoughts coming in on the Vancouver Ford text line. Our worst day on the web today is quite a doozy. Stick around for that at 1:30, because hot mics strike again. But coming up next, let's take a look at a little bit of football next on The Fan. They all got the green light to say they played the game, the video game,
Yes.
college football.
The EA Sports embargo was lifted. They all went down to the EA Sports studio in Orlando to play.
It was, that was incredible to see. Every single college football reporter had the exact same tweet. You know how you always get there's always an athlete that steps in it. I think Anthony Davis did this most recently, where you will get a brand that says something along the lines of, like, please say, insert athlete's name here loves, bubble water. And then they end up tweeting like the whole thing they just cut and pasted where it says insert athlete name here loves bubble water. And you're like, yeah, we know you had one job, but just put your name in there.
DeAndre had one of those.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, its rookie year.
And so, that actually, he was just too busy actually playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I
remember that one happening. I was like, oh my God, for the love of God, hire somebody.
But you should just have somebody else send those tweets for you. Like, it's not that hard.
Look,
and it shouldn't be a guy you went to high school with,
look,
all right?
Look, there's a Trailblazer that has a company who runs their social media, and it's a wonderful thing.
There you go. It seems like that's exactly what every reporter did today.
Yeah.
Because it was some iteration of, I got the chance to play NCAA football 25 today. Here's my story. And then they had their story linked below it.
And there was a lot of people who got the chance to go down there and do it because EA Sports wants to do this and revive this franchise right. But I did dive down through a bunch of the reviews, and man, everybody's loving it.
Okay, well, I got one. Andy Staples, the turnover chainsaw at Oregon State is confirmed.
Dun, 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 dun.
They're going in on all the celebrations, all the music rights,
There's
everything.
one. You remember the Michigan-Penn State game where they played Mo Bamba and they ended up getting the delay of game?
Yeah.
When Michigan was in Penn State, and it's loud as hell. They recreated that scene, and they got the licensing rights to Mo Bamba, and like when you're in Penn State and you've got 110,000 people there. Again, 110,000 people there.
Yeah.
The screen, if you're the visiting team, the screen shakes so violently that you can't.
Yeah, they have like
stadium pulse.
Yeah, it's back.
Yep.
They got Neck from LSU.
Ooh, the one that they can't even play?
Yeah.
Their band can't play it anymore?
Neck is in. The only two that aren't in that like I wish would be in is Enter Sandman with Vautech. That's not in. And then Jump Around isn't in with Wisconsin. So that makes me wonder, will Shout be in?
I bet you Shout's in.
Yeah.
Because they haven't said anything about Shout.
I bet you Shout's in.
I bet Otis Day and the Knights.
I bet you they're in.
I bet they got the green light on that.
And
that's a little... I can't believe I can understand Enter Sandman not being in.
Yeah, Metallica not being associated with any of them.
But I mean, I actually just College Game Day did a big thing this past season on Wisconsin in what Jump Around has meant to. Oh my gosh, House of Pain. Yeah. House of Pain guy went to the stadium, was like, it's really cool that the song still lives on, and then they're like, not on college football though.
I wonder if they maybe lowballed that offer a little bit.
Yeah, they probably lowballed them all.
I wonder if the USC band plays every 7 seconds.
God, that's annoying. Or Tennessee with Rocky Top. That is just like every first time.
I wonder if you're playing at Oregon, if you're USC, if they move the band to the very top row.
They should. They should
make it true to life.
Yeah. Well, that's just not an. By the way, that's not just an SE thing.
Oh, I know.
They do that to all the bands.
But
they just push them all the way
to
up.
the very top.
Yeah, which is what you should do if you're the home team. Texas does it in the upper deck.
Ooh, and that's a big building.
Yeah. Well, was it? It was Washington. At Washington, Oregon's band was up in the upper deck as well this past year. So you got that going all around. So Beaver fans, you're not just in the game. Turnover chainsaw has been confirmed by one Andy Staples. So Nerds Unite.
Look, I'm united over this 100%. It's not a Madden reskin. They're not porting over the same engine because NCAA football and Madden always used to have different feels to them. That was like the whole thing, and I was always more pro NCAA football. I liked the way it felt. they're building NIL into the game. They're building the transfer portal into the game. Like it's gonna be a deep dive, ladies and gentlemen.
It's all gonna change.
July 19th. That's a Friday, right?
That is a Friday.
I might be off on the 20th.
Well, that's a Saturday.
I'm sorry, the 22nd.
I would hope you're off on Saturday.
I meant to say 22nd, but I can't do days.
Is that Summer League? When's Summer League?
The week before.
The week before.
Yeah, so I might have a little back-to-back.
You're going to be useless. So if you're wondering how Danny got divorced, he went to Summer League and then locked himself in his man cave.
To be fair, the wife is coming with me to Vegas.
Okay.
She actually enjoys it because I work all day while she goes and plays all day. And then we'll go to a show or to go to dinner.
All right.
Danny's going to bring his Xbox or PlayStation in and hook it up to the second TV so he can play during the segments.
I mean,
that's not a terrible idea.
Not the worst idea.
It's there's a TV right there that is never on in this studio.
It'd be kind of fun if
we could do that.
1080 the fan sleepover?
No.
Just because some of us have slept on this couch.
Yeah.
Some of us or one of us?
Did you?
Yeah.
I have.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, no, I kidding me? When we first moved in here, I did.
I actually stayed the night on that couch.
That's right. You stayed the night. Mine was just a couple hours.
Actually, now twice.
You're not living in radio unless you've slept in the studio one time before.
With Kim Jong-un as your pillow.
That's right.
Stuff out there.
Overnighters.
Worse than sleeping in a studio. Being caught with a hot mic.
Again.
God.
Again.
Turn your mics off, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to that here on our worst day on the webs. But first, here's Big Will Betts with the Sports Zone Update.
On the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
That sucks.
Well, Will Ortner and I were talking about this one yesterday. We were like, we need to find the audio for this because the text for it was unhinged. We had more unhinged yesterday on the worst day. These hot mics keep popping up left, right, and center. And I don't know. Oh boy. Do you want to be caught with this kind of hot mic, or do you want to be caught with a hot mic we had in the MLS last week?
The MLS one.
That's what I thought.
You'll go MLS 10 times out of 10. And if there's anybody who is like, you know what? Thank you for this. It could be worse. It is the halftime studio host for the Portland Timbers.
Yes, and instead you have the NFHS network.
Okay. Can we lay the groundwork for people that don't know what NFHS is, though?
Yes.
The NFHS network is the National Federation of High Schools. And so they have a network where quite literally every single high school in the country has the ability to put up cameras in their stadiums and they have these cameras that will track movement on the field. So you don't have to have a camera operator. You don't even have to have announcers. Like what a lot of schools will do is they'll have like ambient noise and you can hear the PA announcer say, who made the catch, or you may hear the high school wide receivers coach yelling through his headset. And it may pick up on the NFHS microphones from time to time. Not that that's happened to me, but it could happen to somebody at some point where you hear the, what are you doing? But most of the bigger schools or in small communities that have radio, you will have broadcasters on them, like this Kansas high school.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
God, was that first half as ugly as I thought it was?
Yes.
That game, that had no flow whatsoever. See, because it's a high school game as an announcer, I just can't go, what in the hell was that? But, no, not, college games I might. High school games I won't. Actions have consequences. It is my policy. It is beneath my dignity to call out high school players. I'll try to subtly do it, but I'm just going to say this game blows. Whoa. My mind kind of flipped the kill me now switch at about 30 minutes in. If they're just going to keep kicking the damn ball out of bounds and missing passes all day, I might as well just go home. Oh, baby. Yeah, send Newman down to Claremore. I just want to do a header off the top of the press box. Unfortunately, it's too low. It wouldn't kill me. It's like they're not even trying to pass. They're just chucking the ball downfield. A little technique would be nice. What the hell are they teaching those kids in practice? Up top, baby. Gotta be able to where I think the one that's facing us. I guess I can't see the legs, but I can feel the attitude from here. This conversation never happened, by the way. We get in trouble. I would have never had this conversation had Amy been sitting in that chair. We've been around long enough. We know what we're doing. All right. I think we got it all out of our system. We can put the mic live again. Let it rip. Back at the Shield Striker Soccer Complex on the NFHS Network. Toby Moore, your co-pilot here. It's McPherson 1, Rose Hill 1 after 4.
Yikes.
That's a yikes, dog.
And like he mentions there, if Andy was here, we would never be having this conversation. You wish Andy was there, bud.
Yep.
I mean, but until he started talking about the moms,
everything else,
like we've been there, like there's no flow to the game. Sometimes there's games where some of the parents are probably like, this game sucks.
I want to die.
This is so boring.
Yeah.
Like that happens.
Yeah.
That's not
pretending
that bad.
like that doesn't happen. 2 announcers or 2 people in media.
Yes.
I remember.
But I love that he's like, we can't have this conversation.
No.
And then he's like, I think we can get that out of our system. Let's turn the mics back. Oh, that's not good, Bob.
Yeah, when you look back down, you realize, oh no, the mic's on. Oh God, and it's streaming, so it's not like you can like try to save that one.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
But
So
it's bad. I've heard so much worse off air.
I have too.
It's just,
it's weird that it's just back to back, like weeks though.
I tell you,
I guess it was 2 weeks ago.
I love the little red lights. Can
2
I
weeks
just say
ago.
that?
That you know?
Yeah.
When you know, you know.
When you know,
no,
you know.
Sometimes those. What if your light goes out?
And
What
then
if your light goes out?
That'll be my undoing.
Oh, absolutely. Oh man.
Vancouver Ford text line. How did that get recorded? It was streaming.
He didn't go to break.
Yeah, it didn't cut away.
He didn't go to break.
Or somebody didn't bring their mics down. I imagine they're probably using the same setup that we do for like YouTube. They're probably using like Streamcast or Streamlabs.
And like this texture says, I want to hear his reaction when he noticed the mic was on. I wonder if he like,
probably wasn't
until it was on the internet,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh boy."
When I've done stuff for NFHS, you usually run your own board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is it digital? Is it like an actual board, or is it like a digital board?
the
like
ones that
YouTube?
I have done have been an actual
Okay.
board. Now it's much smaller. Like if you're
It's a
on
little 4
YouTube
channel.
right now, you can see the board that
Yeah.
I'm running on and that I work with. It's really, really small. But you run it and you are like, you know if it's up or it's
because
down.
you can see the levels.
You do it yourself.
Oh man.
Look on down, just pretend like nothing happened. All right, and we're back to the game now here on the Soccerplex.
This goes back.
Just kidding. It was a joke.
The very first, like every mic is hot, like experience that I ever had. I was in college and we had the two guys that mentored me. They were awesome. They would said, "I want to play something for you." Joe Brett and Pete Belcastro, by the way. They said, "I want to play you something. This is every mic is live and you never know when it's going to be played." And there's a guy who's recording a spot down in Southern Oregon, and he kept screwing up his read. And he went off and he just FNAGD why you're so stupid, why can't you get this right? I can't believe this. MF. He accidentally, instead of deleting it, saved it, and during morning drive it played where a McDonald's spot was supposed to play.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It played 3 times before anybody caught it. And guess when they caught it? They caught it because a school bus driver had the station on while she had a bus full of elementary school kids.
No.
Driving them to school. And I mean, when I say it's profanity laced, it is to the nth degree.
Which, to be fair, if you've ever recorded a spot for anything and you can't get something right,
yep,
and you've done take 32, it is very frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What do you mean that one was 34 seconds? Gah!
And this text says, by the way, on primetime last night, Suk mentioned one of the good things about calling games at Lake Oswego football back in the day was the hot moms, including Will Darkins.
Will Darkins is a hot mom?
Will Darkins' hot mom.
Oh.
There was a Lake Oswego high school football game that Suk and I were both on the call for, where Will Story, former Oregon State Beaver, Will Story, they ran a trick play, and after the game, I was a sideline reporter, and I asked him about it in our player of the game interview, and he dropped the infamous, and we just game planned the S out of that play on the mic after a high school broadcast. And I will tell you this, I have never heard anybody laugh as sincerely as Jason Sukanik laughed when he heard a high schooler drop an S-bomb on these very fine airwaves of 1080.
Made it out, huh?
Yeah, it was and it was high school play-by-play, so no delay.
There's no drop. Yeah.
No, I didn't even think about that.
No delay. So it was that we had that one, and then there was also a high schooler, Wes Lynn. Wes Lynn. They went. I can't remember. He's a linebacker. I think he went to play at Bucknell. He dropped an F-bomb in the post game.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was like
that's a brazen kid.
Well, it wasn't like when you heard it. It was just like part of his normal talking, and he was all amped up. It was right after they won the state championship.
Oh, that's fair.
And it was
okay.
just like,
they were talking like a regular game here.
No, it was just like after they won the state championship, he's
okay.
like, we just wanted to get that one effing back, and it was like, well, all right.
Did you acknowledge it, or did you apologize, or did you just keep it moving?
Never. Just keep moving.
Okay.
People will be like, did I hear that? And that'll be forever in their minds.
The answer to did you hear that is always yes. You did.
Yeah, you did. You probably did.
You did. But we're all just going to pretend like we didn't. Because it's better for everybody.
It was great. I'm going to try and find that. I have it somewhere. The guy from Medford doing this.
That's great. I know we definitely.
I'll try to get that. I'll try to get that.
Yeah, no, I want to hear somebody else's meltdown on a spot because Lord knows I've had a couple of those.
This one is an all-timer.
It happens. All right, coming up next, got some NBA draft stays and withdrawals. The cutoff is actually tonight. We are less than 12 hours away. Who stays and who goes back to college? One name in, one name out as it pertains to the Portland Trailblazers and the NBA at large. We'll get that next year on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. building yesterday for the Portland Trailblazers, hosting his last workout or participating in his last workout before the withdrawal date, which is today, has indeed withdrawn his name from the NBA draft, is going back to UConn and looking to three-peat. I had Karaban mocked 30th overall in my mock to Boston, and that was with the inkling that he might stay in. Last I heard, he was basically looking for a promise to be drafted. And he did not receive that promise in a high enough level, I would imagine.
By Portland at 30?
34.
I know.
But no, it's
or 14.
I know a lot of people that really like Karaban as a player. I don't know if necessarily going back is the right thing for him because the draft next year is really good.
It is going to be really deep, and if you're not going to be behind this one, where are you going to be at next year?
Unless
Unless
you show you can take on an even bigger role.
But I think the one thing that we miss now, as opposed to years past, is that if you were going to be in the NBA, you're going to make it in the NBA no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm. No matter what year. In college is not a bad thing.
Now what we have is, I think the best thing for college basketball is that you can get paid in college basketball to where you're not jumping at the paycheck and that opportunity to expand your earning window as long as you can, which is why a lot of guys left early. Now you have the ability to go back, earn some cash, actually earn probably more money than you're going to be making guaranteed-wise if you're a second-round pick and on a two-way contract.
And
if
you're
NBA.
at Connecticut where they don't care about football, you're getting paid to play basketball.
On the two-time defending national champs where you're one of the few pieces coming back, hell yeah. You are.
So
you do have to deal with Danny Hurley, but that's a bit of psycho that you signed up for in the first place.
Yeah, you know what you're dealing with.
And you've been winning.
Yeah.
So I love that the NBA has this process and college basketball has this process too, where you can put your name in. And here we're only, 2.5 weeks away from the NBA draft? 2 weeks away?
No.
From tomorrow?
Month.
Oh, I thought it was June 16th.
26th.
26th. Yeah. Okay, so we're a month away from the NBA draft.
But we are now under a month now. It's
creeping
up quick.
Is really encouraging that you have this ability to go this far in the process and then say, no, I've gotten my read, I'm out. Because it doesn't hurt the college game. It doesn't hurt the NBA either. You both avenues get a fair shake on what their evaluation process looks like, where they could potentially be drafted, and now you can pull your name out and go back to school. I think it's good.
Yeah, and you don't have kids that are stuck.
Yeah.
And you don't have a pool of 140 players to draft from when there's only 2 rounds, and really, it's really only 1.5.
Which brings me to Bronny. Bronny, the Rich Paul said that Bronny's going to stay in the draft. He will enter the draft, which means he got the promise from the Lakers that he will be drafted.
Well, and even if he's not, he'll go undrafted wherever he wants.
Yeah.
They can take whatever offer they want. But we talked about this last week. He's not going to sign on a 2-way deal, which I get putting it out there and making it public and forcing a team to give him a real contract because you're LeBron James and you are leveraging this for your kid. And yes, there is nepotism involved. Is Bronny an NBA prospect? Barely.
I love, you know what is probably going to be the best part that comes out of this is that there will come a time where LeBron is like, I've seen the other side of what it's like for every other player who isn't a bona fide superstar and been so since they were 17 years old. There's guys that really struggle in the NBA, and everything has, up to really this point, has been geared towards the top of the NBA and not the majority of the players, which are near the bottom. And that's what Bronny's going to be. Look, people are like, oh, people just smash on the kid. That's not, no. He's one of the top 1% basketball players in the world, but he's not his dad, and that's okay.
And he's a fringe NBA player.
Which is still the top 1% in the world.
But even then, fringe NBA player might even be being too kind. He's a 6'1" forward. That's playing in Europe. If his last name is anything other than James, he's playing in Europe.
Well, if his last name's McCollum, he's Eric McCollum.
Yeah, which Eric McCollum made a fortune.
Yeah,
kicking butt and taking names in Turkey, man.
Yeah, and Russia, where he's weird stories over there.
Yeah. But, you can go make, you will never, ever, ever catch me poo-pooing players who play in Europe. Ever. Number one, the exchange rate, bonkers great. If you're getting paid in dollars, holy crap. It's a great way. Mario Hezonja went and played in Greece as a 25-year-old single guy making $8 million in Greece, $8 million in Greece, where the lira is non-existent. This was, their economy was in complete and utter shambles. Can you think of many places you would want to be as a 6'8", 25-year-old single guy making $8 million a year?
Nah.
With an insane exchange rate?
No.
Like, oh yeah, and you're getting paid to play basketball.
That's pretty good. So like, I'm all right with
people
that.
that name and shame playing in Europe, you are a dummy.
No, it's pretty awesome.
If I get the whole competitive thing, like I want to make it in the NBA. If you don't make it, go play overseas. If you can go play like any of the big, like the Greek leagues or Spanish ACB league, even the French league now. If you can do that, go. Because
even they're passionate about it.
Yeah, they are, but
you don't get paid all the time.
Not only that, let's stay away from Putin for a little while.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's a little invadey.
I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Just don't bring your weed pens.
Or your American culture or anything else.
Yeah, true.
It's not it's a problem.
You get paid a lot, though.
Look, the people who get paid over there, basketball players and female volleyball players.
Yeah.
They love their volleyball over there.
Love volleyball.
Like, volleyball players make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's great.
It's insane.
Times are good.
And look, man, if you're at 6'5",
Will's over there like looking to become a volleyball coach.
I've already been a volleyball coach, 5-4. No big deal.
Bolstering that resume.
No big deal.
All right, Karsh keep it under wraps.
The blended 7th and 8th grade Wildcats of La Center have never been more dominant.
Well, see? And you could put that on your resume.
I'm applying to volleyball jobs in Europe as we speak.
There we go.
It's on the resume. How do you think I got this gig?
Yikes.
I'd keep that to yourself. But yeah, this is today's the cutoff day, so we'll know who's going back. Johnny Furphy at Kansas is another guy that I've seen mocked in the first round that I was told a couple weeks ago he was very strongly considering going back. But we'll see. There's a full list of guys. I think Jeff Borzello tweeted out the larger list. And Folly Dante has not received a waiver,
which is
one way or the other.
So bizarre.
Yeah, I don't
you're not doing any investigations right now.
You got time.
Like this is literally
just do the waiver.
Your job is nothing except for eligibility.
Yeah.
Like that's it. In most of your eligibility with the investigations being gone has been taken away.
If I told you that Caleb Love had eligibility left, would you believe that?
No.
He has eligibility
Isn't
left.
he my age?
Yeah.
He's not. Is he not 26? He's 25? He's old.
No, he's only 22.
No.
But he's been in college basketball for 5 years.
Yeah, this text on the Vancouver Ford text line, Josh Childress, didn't he go to the NBA to play in Italy because they offered him more money? Yeah. And so did Brandon Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them boomeranged back around because they were like, yeah, the NBA will still be there for me. Yep. And it was.
Mm-hmm. And I think both those guys also did that during the lockout. That was 2011, right?
And China. Stephon Marbury has a statue.
Not a Philadelphia 76ers little mini statue, a full-blown holy crap statue.
Starbury has a statue.
And he's not eating glue.
China.
Great shoes.
Wait, what?
You never had the Starberries?
Not to you, to him.
I'm sorry, it wasn't glue, it was Vaseline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard people do that, which is
he,
also very weird.
Yeah,
but
he eats Vaseline.
He eats Vaseline.
Yeah.
Like to what? Like instead of drinking coffee in the morning?
I don't know, man. But that, like the whole idea of
grease the skids.
Ugh.
That's gross,
like
dude.
This is the closest I've ever been to puking on air.
Where do you start eating Vaseline?
What do they call it? Pica? Is that what it is when you eat weird stuff?
I don't know. I've watched enough. Like I've watched the My Strange Addiction on. Remember when the Learning Channel TLC used to be things that you'd actually learn about? They had My Strange Addiction on there, and there was somebody who ate light bulbs.
Yeah, I do remember that. There's also a woman who ate couch stuffing. Like she went and bought a new couch based on how the stuffing tasted.
Nobody buys new couches. Couches are expensive. How rich is this lady?
Yeah, it is called pica. Pica is an eating disorder in which person eats things not usually considered food.
Really? All right, so pica. He's got that going for him.
Yeah, it's just
the other My Strange Addiction that was weird is the guy who is addicted to like bargaining. Like everything he would bargain. So you go to fill up your car at the gas station, right? He would bargain with the gas station attendant about lowering the price of his gasoline. And they're like, dude, I can't do it. Like there's nothing I can do. I cannot lower this price for you. This is what the gas price is. And he would just like wear him down, call the manager. Like that is what his addiction was. He would do it for everything. And his family's like, we can't go anywhere with him. Anything
but
that
if you
he
take
purchased,
him overseas,
dude, he crushing it.
It's
but
there. It's always. Have you ever been
to? Say
to?
that he has gotten them to like lower the gas price, which as of right now, I'm considering doing it right now.
I feel like this guy should probably be in sales.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're like, he's successful at what he does. It's like, well,
yeah,
but nobody at work probably likes him.
No, he probably crushes the timeshare sales.
He doesn't have
timeshare sales.
Doesn't have any friends because like you can't go out to get a beer with the guy.
No.
Like you can't go out to eat or go to a movie or go to a game or do anything because all he wants to do is haggle and lower the price. That would suck, dude.
I don't like cringy things. Like when you get the awkward cringiness in TV shows or movies, I curl up in a ball in a fetal position. I want to die. It is the most uncomfortable feeling on the planet for me. But I have a weird addiction of when I'm overseas, watching particularly Americans not haggle.
Oh.
And just price. Okay.
Here we go.
And it just go.
Yeah.
Just like that, huh?
That was my experience at the hot dog stand near Central Park where I was like, I'm not paying that. I'm not doing like person in front of me. No prices listed on anything. So I was like, okay, we're up for negotiations.
Yeah.
Here. Person in front of me, how much? Guy's like, hot dog and soda, $11. And I was like, no way. No way. They got it for $7.50. $7.50.
That a boy.
He paid $11 in front of me. I wasn't about that life.
No, look, I love it.
I was like, how low are we gonna go here? He's like, I don't know. I go 6? No. 7. He's like 8. Nope, $7.50 it is. Bam, deal.
Done. Well, he knows his price points.
Done. He knew exactly where. But 11? How many other Oregonians has he gotten for $11?
He got those tourists through there, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
not gonna be about that life.
I respect the hustle. All right. You know what? Speaking of hustling, college football coaches going to be about that hustling life. Ooh, come up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. And thanks for riding with us. Let me tell you, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, if it's a college and or professional sport, there is nothing more coaches loathe to do than talk about injuries or availabilities. No matter what, it is treated as nuclear secrets. The only time I can ever remember this not being a thing was Pete Carroll's USC. That was the only time, and that was because it was basically like the Grateful Dead out there, and it was just open for everybody to see who was on the field, who was off the field, who was getting treatment. That's the only time I remember in the post-2000s era across any sport where any level of openness existed.
Yeah, I mean, it really... Chip Kelly battened down the hatches at Oregon.
Oh, my God.
And everybody kind of took a look at it and was like,
we can do that?
Getting away with it. I mean, you don't have to say anything.
Not a word, just plow through the question like he wasn't asked? Okay.
It really did change college football because at that point is when everybody was just like, no, we're not going to. Like, everybody's like, oh, we don't want to talk about injuries, we don't discuss injuries or whatever. Like, Chip Kelly just closed down practice, period. Like, media, don't care.
Nope.
Not getting
you're going to ask about injuries? Not going to answer.
Yeah, not going to say anything about it, and do not even try to ask because we're not going to mention them. The winds are a-changing in that regard.
Yes, because, and we've talked about this really for the past 2 years, as gambling started to get that level, gambling is going to dictate this. And if you lie, if you do something untowards because the gambling is on a federal level, they are going to hammer your university.
And the SEC is having their spring meetings down in, I think, Destin, Florida, is where they do spring meetings.
Isn't that where they do the convention too? Isn't there one of the political conventions in Destin?
Probably.
Or is it spring training? I feel like Destin's one of those places.
I think you might be right.
It's a destination.
I think you might be right. Yeah, they're down in Destin, Florida.
Okay, there you go.
And they're talking about injury reports being a part of the SEC now. And Greg Sankey, the commissioner, the all-powerful Greg Sankey, talked about the evolution of gambling as it pertains to injury reports and all things SEC.
Yeah, noting it's the beginning of a discussion. That discussion is framed around conference games because we don't control the information that a non-conference opponent has. I think the non-conference opponent has the same issues that we're describing to our coaches in play, which is the importance of information in this sports gambling context, the widespread level of contact that exists between college athletes and in the public on a campus, the number of people in an athletic department, all of that in comparative to professional teams that have limited access for the players, limited staff by comparison. And so we've kind of framed that conversation in that way as part of our why.
The why here is we really don't want to get hit with a $250,000 plus fine from the government or from the gambling oversight committees that are end up being formed by the federal boards, and that's really what's going to end up happening.
Well, that's not how the NFL started, though. The NFL started by illegal books and just keeping it on the up and up because what he outlines there, but doesn't say it explicitly, is that there is so much room for tampering and inside information that if you don't have an injury report out there, gamblers, both legal or illegal, are going to try and find out from anybody what the injury situation is. Then it becomes like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Where, Ferris is dying. You hear Ferris is dying, and the game of telephone happens, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got this tip from, the starting right guard's girlfriend who she told her roommate, and she told her boyfriend who put it on Reddit that the left tackle's not playing. And you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, you're creating an alleyway for people to start getting into the program. And like that is an innocuous one. There's people who offer money to folks within an athletic department to try and get that information out.
Yeah.
Because it gives them an advantage to make even more money on the bets that are going to be being placed. So as
Alabama baseball, anyone?
As gambling becomes more prevalent and as it becomes more widespread across the country and in each of these states that you have major conferences in, that's where injury reports are going to start making a lot more sense for them because that information is actually going to be needed.
It's that and it's the oversight.
Yeah.
Because if you and here's what the SEC and Sankey is not saying. Guess what they want? They want a piece of the pie. That's why. They want a piece of that money eventually too, because there's going to give them a point, particularly with college football and basketball, as they break away. If you don't think that gambling is that their money is going to not be involved in them, you're crazy. You're crazy. There's absolutely, positively going to be gambling money going into college sports. Not just that you can bet on it, that they can reap the benefits of. You are going to see gambling commercials during college football games. You are going to see gambling commercials during college basketball games. It's going to happen.
I mean, don't we already see that? Didn't we have March Madness with Kevin Hart in Round Ball Rock?
Dancing around it. But I'm talking about
like that.
But I'm talking about the full. I'm talking about the full integration where that money, because we've now legalized pay for play with the lawsuit being settled. That's so the money will go back into the sports now. It's not just going to be the NCAA or CBS or whatever. That money's going to go over there. And so that oversight is going to be a real thing.
Yeah, I think the universities are going to be individually are going to be a little more standoffish on that, especially if you have public universities, because that's a big difference between like the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. Those are private entities. When you are having, if it's University of Oregon or Oregon State throwing their name behind a sports book, I think there's a lot more red tape that they got to go through because it's a public institution.
Sure, but it's still going to happen. I mean,
I could see that definitely happening.
And that's the thing is that they have to set the groundwork for this stuff and the oversight and everything that comes along with it.
And I mean, George Kliavkoff told us, and he wasn't shy about it at all. He said, we are sharing our proprietary information with sports books as a revenue stream. Yeah. And that was in the Pac-12.
That was almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming down the pipe. I mean, it is what it is. And
injury reports. That's why Chip Kelly actually left UCLA. He's like, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to deal with it.
I'll be an offensive coordinator before I have to give up my injury reports. I'm out. I'm out. I think that is going to be very fascinating. And the one thing when he said, we don't have control over our other conferences, I just go back to the Big Ten and the SEC being in lockstep with a lot of things. We don't want to call it an alliance because last time the thing was called an alliance, the world of college sports absolutely changed.
One shot the other in the face.
That's right. Actually shot the other three in the face.
Yeah.
The Big Ten's like, no, dead.
Why?
But I think that those two are going to be the first, then everybody else just... That's
behind.
what they're talking about with all this. Everybody's like, the playoff and Title IX sports, and they're talking about the more periphery moves too, because the college football playoff, they don't have to demand X amount of spots in the college football playoff. Big Ten and SEC are just going to get them.
Yeah.
Just like the SEC was just getting them previously. They're going to get a majority of those spots because they're just bigger and better. It's these sorts of moves that are going to reframe and repaint the picture of how the college sports landscape looks.
Good, bad, or otherwise.
Yep.
So, speaking of money, Ty Lue got a whole lot of it to stay at the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll dive into that next here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my
Ty Lue's time is not up anytime soon. 5 more years and $70 million later.
Woo!
The LA Clippers retain their coach, and Ty Lue gets paid.
They don't know who's going to be on the team next year. They don't know.
They know Kawhi Leonard's going to be there.
Kawhi's going to be there. They don't know if PG's going to be there.
They don't know about PG.
They don't know about James Harden,
No.
though they want both of them back,
Sure.
according to reports. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, run that back. And PG may get money a lot of other places.
Yeez.
I mean, Paul George.
He has options. And
Got that money?
And
Playoff
we've been talking about this for literally months. The Clippers did not offer the years nor the salary at max rates. And Philadelphia is prepared to.
And
so
they've got some handcuffs on them with Kawhi in his deal.
But Kawhi did take less years and less money, so the precedent has already been set for that in LA.
What is their situation looking like with their future draft picks though? Because
they owe them all to Oklahoma City.
All of them.
All
because
of
of Paul George.
Yes.
2024, no picks. Pick swap in 2025. 2026.
29, I believe, is the first one they owe outright, if I remember right.
That they own?
That they own outright with no protections, no swaps, no nothing attached to
Yeah,
it.
because 2028 is going to Philly.
Yeah.
2029 is going to Philly.
They can't.
That's a pick swap.
Okay,
No,
it's a
pick swap in
okay.
29. Yeah, they don't have any of them.
So yeah, it's literally into the 2030s before they control their picks. It's a very tough proposition, but they have their coach. If you kind of wonder how this whole thing worked, I had heard from the jump
They don't
that
even have second round picks.
no, they are it's gone, buddy. Anything that wasn't nailed down was traded.
Yeah, their only picks they have are 2024's second round pick with a pick swap with Toronto, Indy, Cleveland, or Utah. There's 2 of those this year, which will be buried at the bottom. And then 2030 first and 2030 second round pick, which you can't trade those yet.
No, that after the draft they can. They'll be 6 years out, so they could technically open those up.
See,
but after the season, there was just talk. Well, maybe Ty Lue's gonna leave, and that was Ty Lue's camp getting leverage. But you can't use leverage that everybody knows doesn't exist because there's LeBron, they fired Darvin Ham in LA and they're going to bring Ty Lue back to LeBron in LA. And that's never happening because JJ Redick has the Lakers job wrapped up. And that's been one of the worst kept secrets in the NBA for about 6 weeks.
I can't wait to see how that shakes out in LA with LeBron and his podcast host, JJ Redick.
This is if JJ Redick doesn't become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, it will be the upset of the century. That's
it could
how
be
much
nobody else at this point.
That's how much everyone else behind the scenes sure it could be James Borrego. Wink and a nod. It's been so far down the road now. There's been multiple rumors, and I think there's actually reports out now that JJ Redick is actually assembling a staff. The same thing happened in Phoenix with Mike Budenholzer.
I would not want. I wouldn't want a part of that staff though. As crazy and as weird as it sounds, sure you're going to be with LeBron James next year because LeBron's not leaving because of the fact that he's getting his guy, his coach, to be the head coach of the Lakers. But at the same time, your room to grow and elevate on that staff, is it a good opportunity? I mean, any opportunity is good, and I guess if you don't have a spot, but you're a sacrificial lamb there.
There's a lot of well, he's skipping in line. It's are you new here?
Yeah, he's a former player with a prominent voice.
Yeah, Steve Kerr didn't have any coaching experience, took over the Warriors. He had front office experience. It's no. Look,
Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, he actually had more coaching experience than Steve Kerr did.
At a year.
Yeah. Look, JJ Redick actually marks a lot of the boxes for traditionally successful coach. A former player, which is helpful.
Who wasn't a star.
Doesn't have to be a former player. Doesn't have to be, but it does help. But if you are a former player, not a star. Jason Kidd, Larry Bird, those are probably the 2 best examples of actually great players who have turned out to be very good coaches. Look, Kidd is not my cup of tea. they're in the Western Conference Finals right now.
He's doing a great job.
Probably going to the NBA Finals.
Well, that's like when we talked to Kirk Henderson last week. Like, I've been wanting to give Jason Kidd credit, but he is more of a 16-game coach than an 82-game coach, which is the playoffs.
It's a very interesting way about going about it, but it does matter. So, but if you're talking about Redick, he's very X's and O's oriented. But he fits the tropes, the white guy tropes. Hard worker, first one in, last one out, puts in more time than anyone, real coach's son, grinder, all of those things.
Loves poetry.
But all of that crap, it transitions to coaching.
Yeah,
which is why you see those kind of guys.
He got
not necessarily
along
the
with
white guys.
everybody too on his teams. Like, you don't hear the JJ Redick
to an extent. The ones that he didn't, it did not go well. That is for sure. But the guys that love him, Chris Paul loves him. Bubs calls JJ Redick Bubs. This guy. If you like, JJ is a guy. I've talked to him half dozen times in my life. I've never had a bad experience with him. I've heard some stories, but that's kind of the nature of the beast. If you don't have people who don't like you in the NBA, you're a bit of a weirdo. There's just too many egos. But he's the right kind of guy, I think, that understands the ego. He knows how to work with a Chris Paul, a LeBron James. This is not me changing my tune. This is the thing that I have always said matters more than anything in coaching in the NBA. Getting the buy-in from those dudes.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
If you don't have that, David Blatt is one of the best X's and O's coach quite literally in the world. Like, he's still kicking ass, taking names. Like, he's a great X's and O's coach. Does not communicate well with stars or command that kind of respect.
Nope. And that's why they always say, like, the hardest part about winning a championship is you got to win the locker room. You can't win a locker room unless you got a ring, and you can't win a ring unless you get a locker room. It's a vicious cycle. And you can't kind of bounce around it, but a guy who has played in the league before, who's been down those roads before, those are the guys that end up getting that cachet and buy-in from those guys.
It's going to be a train wreck to watch.
I can't wait.
But we'll tune into that and go, hey, what's going on here? But I also think that there is more room for success than we're allowing for.
Well, I just can't wait till LeBron eventually turns on him and fires him.
Cancels their podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Like, he just ruins the friendship. He's like, wasn't able to win for me. Psh. He's done it to everybody. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Every single coach that he's had besides David Blatt has been like his hand-picked guy that he either...
Or Spo.
Well, hold on. He went to go and play for Eric Spoelstra.
No, he went to go and play for Riley.
He went to go and play for Eric Spoelstra.
He tried to get Spo fired.
After he wouldn't let his entourage on the plane.
He tried to get him fired.
I understand that. But he went down and he has hand-selected everybody with the exception of David Blatt, who was there.
Well, Darvin wasn't really his pick.
Whose pick was it?
That was the front office.
You mean Rob Pelinka? Mm-hmm. Who LeBron James controls like a little puppet?
Well, I'm just saying. there wasn't one of those ones that was a dead certainty for the pick. I will say, LeBron James, prior to this, while burning through coaches, did pretty good with them.
Hell yeah, he wins a lot because he was the best player in the world.
And now he's a top 12 player.
That's right.
Which is still really good.
That's going to be the interesting part about all this.
Best 40-year-old in NBA history.
Do they have... Like, was Darvin Ham the sole issue with the Lakers this year? No, he wasn't. Darvin Ham was not the sole... You think that Darvin Ham was the sole issue with the Lakers this year? Come on, get out of here. What the hell was that?
No, not at all.
Darvin Ham was not the issue with the Lakers.
I have to lean into the coach is actually the problem.
Yeah, no. He was not even remotely close to their biggest issue.
Probably 5th or 6th on the list.
Yeah. Because they're running into a very similar thing that we have here in Portland, which is a roster construction issue as well.
That doesn't make sense, yeah.
Like,
it all started with
JJ
trading
Redick
for
doesn't
Russell
change that.
No, and it all started with trading for Russell Westbrook.
Yes,
it's been downhill since then.
And they do not have the assets or the cap space to go and do anything now.
Don't tell them that. They can get Donovan Mitchell for peanuts.
That's right.
All right, coming up next, look, there's a big change coming to the NFL, and one team's trying to get out in front of it right out of the gate. But first, here's Big Will Betts with the Sports Center update. For far too long. And it's time for it to come back.
Sexy Boys?
Yes, Sexy Boys.
All right.
Also known as kickoff returners.
Yeah.
Because boy, are they sexy.
They used to be Dante Hall, Desmond Howard,
Devin
Hester, Hall of Famer. There have been a lot of great kick returners.
In college, Reggie and LaMichael.
Yeah, yes. College kick returners
Woo!
are electric.
What was his name at West Virginia?
Noel Devine.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Just terrifying stuff. Terrifying stuff.
Well, they're making a comeback because of the new kickoff rules in the NFL.
Which I am super excited to see.
Yeah, I don't know how it all play out because you're going the XFL kickoff where you move everybody up. It's kind of a cluster, but they're expecting more returns because there's an incentive to allow a return to happen. And the Jets, they just signed Tariq Cohen from the former Bears little running back.
Little scat back.
To be a kick returner.
Kick returning is going to matter again.
This is wild what Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets, said. They're expecting 100+ opportunities this season for their kick returner. They weren't even kicked off to 100 times last year. Is he expecting his defense to be worse? Because think about that.
Did he maybe put together kickoff and punt together?
Nah, I don't know. He said kick returns. The most returns a team had last year in kickoffs, and this is going to be it's going to be a big shift. I think he may have just said 100, but just throwing it out there. But I think what we're going to see is closer to 60, maybe 70 per team per year. Because last year, do you know what team led the NFL in kickoff returns last year? And how many, just what the number would be?
12.
31.
Oh, really?
It was the Green Bay Packers, 31 return kickoffs last year.
That's just a little under 2 a game.
Was the most in the NFL. Yeah, 2 per game. And think about that when you talk about scoring in the NFL, right? The best scoring defense in the NFL was at 17 points per game. So that is at least 3, right?
Mm-hmm. But I think
per game, 4 per game.
You look at their punt return leaders last year, and it's 37 was number 1, and your average is probably around 12, 13.
Yeah.
I think if you put those two together, I think that's probably where I think when he said kick returns, I think he was probably putting the two together.
Getting that number up.
But just like the whole idea of Devin Hester. Devin Hester was like, if there's a punt, there's a kickoff, there's a ball going in the air that's kicked, he's going to be back there to have an opportunity to break one loose.
That is such a game changer, and it sucked that that's what they were taking out of the game. And they were doing it for safety. And I get it, and football does need to be diligent about promoting safety within the game, because as numbers were dwindling from youth participation, you have to find a way to make the game safer. And I get that. And I'm telling you, football is such a more safe game than it was when we played. Is it a safe sport? No, there's risk involved. Absolutely, 100%. But they have legislated so many of the helmet-to-helmet contacts out of the game, and now we are seeing, from the youth level up to the NFL, players are starting to adjust at the highest of levels to playing within these parameters and within these sets of rules. And that is a good thing. You're seeing head injuries go down. Helmet technology has gotten way better. The way that they are teaching tackling, the way that they are making rules in the game to take targeting out and to take head-to-head contacts out of the game, it really is so much more safe than it was 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's night and day. Night and day. The kickoff being back and having returners back, that changes how the game will be played.
It's putting the third dimension back in football. Special teams was not nearly as special.
No, because it was just coming down to kickers.
Yeah.
And now what you're doing is you have those big momentum shifts, and any coach that tells you that momentum isn't a real thing, it is a real thing. Momentum is real. And
the number of games that have been won on special teams over the history of football, look, offense, defense, it's 2 phases of the game. There used to be a third phase of the game because it was so influential.
Yeah. And if somebody is like, momentum isn't real, that's because
science can't
they're
capture
not
it.
Connecting with their players the right way, because you can always be a calming force, but momentum shifts, big plays,
psychological forces can't be measured. But there's even the hard math nerds.
Yeah.
All of the MIT analysts, they will acknowledge the effect of momentum without being able to calculate it.
Yeah.
It's like in basketball, the hot hand theory.
Yeah.
It was like, well, it's not really a thing per se. It's not predictive. It's like, all right, shut up. Did the guy get hot and just feel like he could hit everything?
That's
yes.
right.
Okay. The confidence led to it.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You've got to have it. Every coach wants the steady hand, and so there's some that try to be momentum deniers. I'm a momentum truther.
People don't like to get away to acknowledge luck.
Yeah.
And momentum is luck.
It is.
It genuinely is. It is like a more slightly more quantifiable version of luck, even though people have attempted to quantify luck in the past in sports.
When
luck-adjusted analytics are just insane.
When the avalanche comes, everybody can feel it. Everybody can feel it, and nothing changes.
Back
it
against the wall and 102-yard return out of nowhere. You go
kickoff return, a punt return.
Even the non-touchdown, flipping the field on a punt return.
Yeah, it's huge, man. It's huge.
Just
starting in plus territory, your offense comes out feeling so much more confident in any drive. Any drive. Woo! I love it. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Let's go.
So we're bringing back the kickoff and
bringing it all back.
New York's trying to make kickoffs great again.
With Tariq Cohen, and that's the problem. Who's the best kick returner in the game right now?
Nobody knows.
No.
It's
not Justin Fields. Justin Fields said he was asked about that today. He was like, no, I think it's funny, but I wasn't brought here to return kicks, and I won't be returning kicks.
Coward.
Could it be Odunze maybe? Because he was actually, he was returning punts in college, but.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit the traditional mold.
Yeah, come on, Will. We want somebody small and fast.
Yeah. How dare me think logically?
No, it's just
jerk.
There haven't been a bunch of bigger kick returners. It's just never been a thing. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. How big was Dante?
Dante Hall was 5'8".
Yeah, I'd say he was tiny. Devin's tiny. Dion was tiny.
Dante Hall. Let's see here. Badass nickname, the X Factor.
Yo, God,
he was
throwing up the S.
5'8", maybe 187.
Maybe Waddle then, if you want to throw Waddle, or I don't know that you would throw Tyreek Hill back there. He might be too old now, but
yeah.
Desmond was tiny.
I like where you're going with that.
Maybe you could throw Worthy back there. I don't know how he is in open space.
Woodson was early on, but they took him off it pretty quick.
You know who would have been awesome, but you never got to see him after his college days? Would have been Honey Badger.
Yeah, he's another guy who got pulled off of it. Troy Brown.
Christian McCaffrey was a good kick returner.
Yeah, they took him off it though too. Yeah. Troy Brown, how big was Troy with the Patriots?
Oh, Troy Brown's small.
I know
guy.
He's smaller, but was he tiny?
Yeah, he was like
5'9".
Yeah.
Okay,
that sounds about right.
Like I said, there's just not that many. Tim Brown.
5'10", 195.
Tim Brown.
Yeah.
Tim Brown's probably it.
Could you stick A Chain back there or Mostert maybe?
Mostert I could see.
A Chain's fast, but I don't know how much practice he had.
With the Browns, can't stay out of jail. Gordon.
Deshaun Watson?
No.
Josh Gordon?
Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
Gordon and Cribbs. Both those guys are big.
Ooh, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, he fits the mold.
Tyler Lockett was good his first 2 years. He's too old now, but his first 2 years.
CeeDee Lamb fits the mold.
Deron Bland.
CeeDee Lamb's
What
tall.
about Deron Bland? He's 6 foot.
What about Diggs? Did Diggs return kicks?
Stephon or
Trayvon?
I don't know.
Stephon's too old now.
Yeah. I feel like the Bears need to have a good kick returner.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of like destined to, right?
That's right. They need.
I mean, maybe it is Rome.
Maybe
Full
it
circle.
is Rome Odunze.
Huh?
They call me Nostradumbass.
Yeah, they
boy,
do.
if that's not a perfect nickname for you, I don't know what is, buddy.
Smart but dumb at the same time.
Nostra don't know anything.
Yeah, and kind of just stumbling into a lot of those.
It'll happen.
I'm not going to take this blasphemy and this hate from you two.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've done a lot of great things in my life.
By the way, we haven't heard from Nostradamus in a while. He had some predictions that should be coming down the pipeline, or did he just stop them when the world was supposed to end the other 7 times?
Well, he's dead.
Vancouver Ford text line. Cordero
Thanks,
Patterson.
Tips.
Cordero Patterson. He's
a big dude.
He's a big dude.
That's a big dude.
He definitely bucks the trend.
He's kind of... Is he old?
Oh, yes. He's very.
I was going to say, he's old, right?
But he's done. Still doing the damn thing.
Yeah. Cordero Patterson.
Do you maybe throw a Bijan Robinson type that's
Yes.
just shifty back there?
You absolutely do.
Especially with the new rules where they can't leave until you catch the ball.
Cordero Patterson, 6'2".
Yeah. Him and Tim Brown are your biggest. Those are your actually big wide receiver types
20.
that were consistent return men.
Yikes.
Yeah, Patterson especially. All right, coming up, the hallowed record that belongs to Cal Ripken Jr. Well, somebody came a little too close to the sun and burned their wings. They just won't get there.
It will never happen.
Yeah, well, we'll see how close they got. Here coming up on Danny and Dusty, Tenny the Fan. Bubba.
No, never going to happen.
It is the
Never
most
gonna happen.
unbreakable. I don't care about anyone's hitting streak. It might actually get broken. It probably won't, but Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive game streak is the most unbreakable record in sports. There is no comparison.
2,632 games in a row.
In a
beating
row.
Lou Gehrig's 2130. And look, did the Orioles cut the lights at their stadium because Cal Ripken Jr. turned around and went home and was it Kevin Costner? I think was
Yeah.
that was the rumor
Yes.
that has been debunked several times.
Mm.
That streak lived on forever, and that was important. That was one of the coolest things ever when he took the victory lap on the horse around,
Yes.
and like it was awesome. And then he plays in his final All-Star game up in Seattle and hits a home run. It was great.
Quite literally the Iron Man of baseball.
That record will not be broken. Trevor Simeon, or no,
Marcus.
Trevor Simeon, Marcus Simeon,
You're-
not the quarterback,
No,
not the backup quarterback.
No, the good one. The good
Marcus
Simeon.
Simeon, the second baseman for the Rangers, took a day off. He had a streak of 349 consecutive games played.
That's only 2,283 less than Cal Ripken.
That's right. That's right. He had not missed a start in was it over 2 full seasons?
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah.
For a baseball player, that many games, man, like that's what makes Cal Ripken's streak so insane.
And they're like, 349. He couldn't make it to 350 because he got in a collision a couple days ago, and
He's pretty
he was
banged up, and then they basically forced him to sit out.
The longest active streak in baseball right now is Matt Olson of the Braves. 510 games. That is the active leader. Think about that. There's only one player in professional baseball over 500 consecutive games played, and it's Matt Olson of the Braves. He still has 2,122 games to play to catch Cal Ripken Jr., and he is 30 years old. It's never going to happen because that was the incredible thing about Ripken is that he went 16 straight seasons without missing a start. Like 16 straight seasons.
162 games.
That is absolutely bonkers.
In
And now we're sitting there
playoffs.
like 349, not bad. But this is why that record will never be broken. People still covet home runs. People still covet hits.
Mhm.
Hit streaks are important. And I don't think the 56 ever gets broken.
Probably doesn't.
But
you could squint in an insane world and say maybe somebody does it.
people don't covet playing every day anymore
No.
because they're like, no, the journey to getting to the playoffs and winning in the postseason with the amount of money that's fully guaranteed that's invested in athletes, they're not going to want to do that anymore. Like there's no reason to keep pushing a player to play every single day because
You have platoon
science is
players,
telling you
yeah.
no.
You have platoon players who are quite literally there to help guys rest.
And meanwhile, Wally Pipp is rolling over in his grave. Like being Wally Pipped is a thing because I gave up my spot for one day for Lou Gehrig. Never got it back.
It'll happen. But there's also there's the science behind it, but there's also that availability is a skill.
Oh, yeah,
We undersell the ability to have that level of availability. That's insane. It's absolutely insane, unhinged, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
To play through what he played through.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think that the cumulative, like this texture on the Vancouver Ford text line is right. I think that the pitching records, like the longevity records, whether it's wins or strikeouts, those aren't going to happen either because
You're not going to see a 300-win pitcher ever again.
the hook is so short.
You're just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like the whole mark of like, well, you can't make the Hall of Fame without making 300 wins. 200 is going to be the new norm.
And that's why, like yesterday, when Major League Baseball integrated the Negro Leagues to MLB records, like the records are sacred in baseball. I think that it is great. I mean, we sit there.
And Josh Gibson, now you're hit king.
Yeah, if you go anywhere, whether it's the NFL, it'll have like NFL stats, AFL, NFL, like pre and post merger. NBA has ABA, NBA stuff that you can go and you can kind of sort through. Having those records together, it doesn't hurt anything about the game. It actually tells the history of baseball even more because a lot of those records were in non-integrated leagues.